they here? Jesse, Leah here? Awesome. Let's do it. Today on Kindness Matters, our very own star siblings. Without question, Jesse and Leah Grandmont have blown away audiences at the VPP over the past decade, whether playing duets or each of them having their own moment in the spotlight. Their talents have taken them all over the world, but the road always leads back to Petrolia, where they both have become family to all of us here. Today, we sit down with this remarkable brother and sister team to talk about growing up with violin in hand to becoming the wildly talented musicians and entertainers they are today. They share stories of some of their favorite VPP moments and what our theater means to them. So, rosin up your bow for today's episode of Kindness Matters, a conversation with Jesse and Leah Grandmont. I'm excited because two of my favorite people are in the house. Leah Grandmont and her brother, right here. Let's talk. Hi, Leah. How are you? What's your name?
I haven't figured that out yet.
Tell me your name.
Jesse.
Jesse. Who gave you your name?
My folks,
Yeah.
my parents, John and Lori.
Why do they say Jesse?
I think.
Do you know the story? Do you have a story?
Yeah, my mom wanted to call me Samuel.
Yeah.
And my dad didn't like it. So they agreed on another biblical name, which is Jesse, and then another one.
What does Jesse mean? Do you know?
I don't know that.
Leah, do you know what Jesse means?
It means it's him.
Do you know?
I do. I did my
okay,
research.
good. Well, enlighten me.
God's gift.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's cool.
And it also means king. And Jesse is the father of King David, who was the king of the Israelites.
I knew that.
There you go. So yes, it's very good. Leah, who gave you your name?
My
Your
parents. Yep.
And?
And I was named after a great grandmother, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what Leah means?
Leah means
There's a lot of
there's a lot of meanings.
Yeah,
the one I know is
yeah.
like shy and timid.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what I know?
What?
The light of the sun.
I like that
Isn't that
much
beautiful?
better.
But
Yeah.
not a gift.
Not
though.
God's
Not
gift,
like
but it's a light. But that's amazing, right? Now you, brother, Jesse,
Yes.
older brother, how many years older?
6.
6 years. You always say this to me, and I'm going to confess, and you can tell me that you're so proud of your little sister, and you say she's actually a better violinist than me.
Yes, I would
What do
say
you
so.
mean by that? Go. Tell me why you say that.
I mean, 'cause she is.
Because she is.
Because she plays it better
Yeah?
than I do.
And you're so proud
Yeah, no,
of it.
I think that Leah worked a little bit harder than I did in school, and she's definitely she's got a leg
So
up.
I
on
don't
me.
notice it,
The
unfortunately.
only
but-
reason I can do the illusion is because I'm older, so I have this 6 years. But where I was when I was Leah's age, she's way past me.
What do you think, Leah?
Well, I completely agree. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I think Jesse and I have our own kind of niche. So where I really worked hard in the classical realm, Jesse spent a lot of time focusing on entertaining and learning to fiddle.
I spent a lot of time getting kicked out of lessons, whereas Leah
yeah,
was in
exactly,
them. So.
precisely. So,
Fair enough.
so yeah, we have our own niche, and
But
I
it
think
takes it's a lot to learn
it
the
is.
instrument, right?
It is.
Yeah.
So we both excel in our areas, and we can both do both of those things,
Yeah.
which is cool.
So did mom, your parents' name? Go ahead, Leah. What's your
Lori is our mom,
Yeah.
and John is our dad.
great folks, and they're always at every show. They're really good. They
Yeah.
have opinions. I love that about them. I really do, actually.
yeah.
And they're smart. They have intelligent. They always give great feedback. They're really beautiful people.
Yeah.
Did they say, okay, Jesse, play the violin? Or did you say, I want to play?
I actually, yeah, it's kind of a weird story, but I don't, like, do you remember, like, you know, PBS and TVO?
Yeah,
in between your programs, they have,
yeah.
like, TVO and then a ribbon flying across the screen.
Oh, yes.
There was one with a violin, and I apparently saw it and said, I want to do that. And my folks both knew, our parents had this thing that we didn't know about until later, but they had agreed that they were going to have us do music as part of our education until we were 16. And then I didn't know until I was 16 when they gave me the choice and said, if you want to be done, you can, and you can pursue something else, or if you want to continue with music, you can. But they always thought it was an important part of our education.
Good for them.
So they knew that, because they're both musicians, and they knew that they wanted us to play something. Mm-hmm. And I expressed an interest in the violin, so they ran with it while I was saying something, right? I mean, if I wouldn't have said I wanted to play violin, they probably would have picked something else and seen how I did and gone. But
Did you pick it up really well?
I think so. I would say so. It's hard to remember, really. Yeah. But I would say so. It was always pretty natural.
And you, Leah, why did you pick up the violin?
Well, I think I just followed suit,
Yep.
saw what my older brother was doing, and we would go to these violin programs every Saturday morning,
Yeah.
and I had to be there anyway. So I was learning all the songs. I could hear him practicing at home. So actually, when I was 2, I started taking classes.
So did you have a little violin, baby violin?
Yeah, it was actually like a box, a craft dinner box with a ruler, and they gave you a stick just to learn how to hold
That's
it.
brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I actually think that Mom and Dad might be able to correct me, but I believe that they put you in violin because I was doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But they were then kind of like seeing if she liked it. Like if she didn't take to it, they wouldn't have forced you to do it.
Yeah. Obviously,
and they,
it worked.
They would have tried you with a different instrument or something.
Yeah.
But it was easy because we already had.
So
the
did
teacher.
you ever think you'd be as good as you are? Like you both are really exceptional. Or is it, do you still work at it, or you laugh at it because, are you shy about it?
You don't really think about that when it's happening. Like, it's, when you're growing up, you're just working.
Right.
And some kids have more work ethic, more talent, and some don't. They don't have a passion for it as much. So I think it just comes from, we both really enjoyed doing it, and that helped us.
So tell me the kind of violin study it is. There's a name for it, right?
Oh, yeah. We both studied Suzuki, the Suzuki method, which is like, the comparison is, he thought music was like learning a language. So there's a lot more about immersing and learning by ear and communicating, and then you learn to read and write the music later. Because his whole method was, learning to speak a language on paper is really difficult, but you can throw yourself in somewhere where you don't speak, and a couple months in you're speaking it. So that's,
great, eh?
that's
Isn't
that
great?
method, yeah.
That's really, really good. I have a memory I'm going to share. So we're in this auditorium, and it's your grad recital.
Oh.
And Raj and I went, and thank you for inviting us. Yeah. And I just saw a Leah I didn't recognize. Because you're such a performer, you're very, very funny. And so tell me who that was. And it was a stunning performance.
Yeah.
By all means.
Well, that kind of performance, when I'm performing here, I'm focused on entertaining, on my face, on the way I'm carrying myself. But that kind of a performance, it's all about the notes. Like, the notes are the most challenging things I play. And so all of my attention is there. So I'm not really thinking so much about, am I smiling this whole time?
Yeah.
It's more like, am I phrasing the music nicely? So I feel like it's just a different area of focus, and that's why it's different. How did I do?
Yeah.
I think I got an A on my grad recital.
Yeah,
it was good.
Really yeah, Raj and I were just like, whoa, it was amazing. Share with us the first time you met David and David.
So I used to play at a bar in London with some of my friends, and
Luca,
with Tony and Brian Barber, who's with us.
Yep.
And we were playing, and some of my friends from school, who are great friends of yours, Janelle Murray, told you guys we have to go watch this thing. We played every Friday night, and I think
specifically you actually. You got to come and watch this guy.
And I think it was after something, right? Like there was something going on at the school.
Yeah,
maybe. Then anyway, so you guys came and watched. And do you
know what he's going to say, Leah? It's
am I allowed to tell us?
Yes, go ahead.
So Janelle and our other friend Casey, who is one of Janelle's best friends, came in, and behind her were these 3 men. And it was you, Raj, and Dennis.
Dennis.
Pellerin.
Oh, yeah, Dennis.
And I turned to the drummer, who's my best friend, and I turned to him and said, what? So what are Janelle and Casey doing with those old guys?
Isn't that awful?
Terrible.
That was 14 years ago, Jesse. I was 42. And then what happened?
And then,
so you,
I think I don't even think we talked that much that night.
No.
Maybe Janelle just said, this is David and David, right? And we didn't know who you were. And then you sent me an audition notice.
Yep.
And at the time I was playing in orchestra pits a lot for theater. I was doing theater, but I was always in the orchestra. And I came and auditioned for you guys, but I thought I was auditioning for a pit. And in the audition I played and I sang. And
tell us, everybody, what is pit? What does he say by pit? What does he mean by that?
Oh, the pit orchestra is the band that plays all the music you hear, the people you don't see on stage.
Yeah.
So if you're hired for pit, you're sitting, reading, playing. Right?
Yeah.
Like the orchestra pit.
Exactly.
Like a traditional, not like at the VPP where we're on stage,
Right.
but a traditional musical orchestra, right? So, but you had me move in the audition, I remember, and DeLuca played piano for me in the audition. And so anyways, I didn't,
Then what happened?
I didn't think twice of it. And then you guys called me to come to be in this show, which was at the Imperial in Sarnia, and I was on stage and in the cast and stuff. And was it you I went up to at the end of the day, or was it Mackenzie? Anyways, one of you, and I said, what did I sign up for? Because we spent half the day doing music with Mark and then half the day dancing. And I went, what
and
is
Adele
this?
Mackenzie was the choreographer.
That's right.
That's who you're saying. That's right. What was your first show here at the VPP, Leah?
Fiddler on the Loose 2, the sequel. Yeah,
Right.
that was a good one.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I was in grade 12.
You auditioned too.
Oh yeah, I auditioned for Jesse and Calandra and you and David Rogers. Like, I knew these people because I'd come to his shows, but
It was the best.
yeah, it was a pretty unique experience. Being 17 and coming and working with all these like older folks. Not old, older than me.
Calandra, I'm old. That's my producer over there.
No, it was scary, but it was so fun. I had such a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened in that show? Tell me about True Colors.
Oh, God.
Oh my goodness. So,
I'm already
do you
going.
remember what happened?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like because it was my first time on stage, you were trying to get me to open up and figure out how to present myself on stage. And in rehearsal for True Colors, which was my solo that I sang, you had me stare Jesse in the face. He's gonna cry like right now talking about it. Stare him in the face and sing the song, and we just immediately started crying, like just because of that song speaking.
It was like the first line.
Yeah.
Well, there's the intro.
Give
Yeah,
it
it
to us.
says
What's
you
the
with the
first line?
sad eyes.
And we just
Are you kidding me? Like, what am I supposed to do now? But yeah, that was.
And you fought through it. You kept
Yeah.
going, and both of you were, it was a beautiful
Yeah.
moment.
And then I never cried on stage, so it worked.
I did on the last show.
Yeah.
Because we hugged after that song in the last show.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun. Jesse, so you've always been out front, but you were in the pit in Wonderful World. Tell me about what happened with our famous Ben Vereen. Tell us that story.
So, so in that show, of course, Ben Vereen was so receptive to everyone. But you guys, with the cast, you guys had so much time. And with the band, we came in a couple rehearsals before the show. So we didn't really know him. Like, you guys got all so close, but we met him briefly, and he really made a point of getting to know all of us. The reason why Tony DeLuca's nickname is Smooth Tony is because Ben just started yelling it at him on stage.
Yeah.
And Mark Cassius, he got to know, and Mark, and you know, and Mark Payne, and the whole group. He was just getting to know us. And he really liked me, and I think I connected with him. He was singing a song that I knew, and I just played with him, and that really kind of connected. But he came up to
Had
me.
nothing to do with his talent. Really had nothing.
No, but that was like a nice moment where he clicked and kind of like gave me the eye and stuff. And so I think it was like opening night. No, it was after Cabaret, because we did a big number where I did a bunch of fiddle stuff. And he came up to me and said, I really, really like that. You need to do some of that in this show. And I was like, ha ha ha. And because it so didn't fit, we were doing like rock Irish music and cabaret, and that wonderful world was what it was. And so he came up to me before the show and said, today in the first number, I want, in the middle of it, I'm going to call you out. I want you to come out front and do that with me in front of the stage. And I went, okay. And then he walked away. And then I called Wendy, the stage manager, and said, I need to talk to you right now because he's telling me to do this. And of course, our jobs are to do a lot of stuff. We get a lot of freedom at the VPP, but especially when you're in the pit, you know, it's not, you can't just run out in the middle of a number and change it.
Yeah, it's choreographed.
It's
choreographed. The show is directed, yeah.
And so you can't just do that. And so, but my concern was, of course, this is Ben Vereen, and I don't want to let him down if he's trying to reach out to me and stuff. So you were so kind as to go deal with it so that I didn't have to say anything, and I kind of hid in the dressing room the whole day that day. But you said, you know, Mr. Vereen, we want to keep the show the way it is, and if that's okay with you. So you told me that, I took a breath. 5 minutes before we walk on stage, he says, so you're not going to do that thing. And I said, no, Mr. Vereen, you got to stick to the show. And he said, you just remember who's calling the shots in this show. And I just went, oh no. And in that moment in the song, he turned and looked at me, and I hid. I just buried my face in my music and looked away from him.
And the reason why, though, is because you had your show coming up.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that was a pit, so that was the verse. And the next show was your show, Women of Country. That was the first show without Jessie, right?
Yeah.
How was that? What was that experience like?
My goodness, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Like a cast full of women,
yeah.
super talented women that I was friends with all of them. So it was the best. And every Wednesday was our cry day. Like we'd have our little session in the morning, and someone would cry every Wednesday. It was awesome.
We just cry a lot.
Yeah.
Fiddler and Women of Country.
I would cry. No, it was
That
awesome.
was a tight show. You guys
were really cool.
Yeah, you were great. And it was fun for me to present you without your brother. Like, that was like
that was fun for me too, because I could show, okay, I can hold my own.
Yeah.
Without this guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was
but
fun.
that's okay.
But I missed him.
Last year, you guys went to Drayton to do. Go ahead, Leah. What did you do?
What did we do? Fiddler on the Loose.
Fiddler on the Loose, right?
Yeah.
And how was that experience? It was mind blowing. People loved it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it was cool for us because I mean those people who followed at the VPP, we've obviously had a bunch of different fiddler themed shows.
Yep.
But that one for Drayton was kind of a big mashup of a lot of our favorite stuff from over the years. So for us, it was like doing like a super show because it was all like the big hits from everything we've done. So that was really, really cool.
And also we got to present it to a new audience.
Right.
People that haven't come here, haven't seen us do that. And we're like, what is happening? Like, this is crazy. So, yeah.
And they were mad about it.
Yeah.
Like and one of the big things is that you dance. They go. I went to see it that one time. I was in the third row. I don't know if and no one was ever looking at me. I go, why are they looking at me? No one's looking at me.
Of course not.
The lady next to me was like, oh my God, they're moving. And she's the funny one. And they were she was commentating all the way through the show.
Yeah.
But it is amazing that she comment that you were off book. You weren't following a music score. You were moving and dancing. You were funny and you were singing. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's incredible. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Was it a hard thing to do all of a sudden dance a Hogan jig and play? Go ahead, Jesse.
I think we still doubt it. Almost every rehearsal, we go like, how are we going to do that and dance it at the same time? And it always ends up happening. And it's a combination of practicing it, but also a little bit of push and pull from us to you, and we go, those two bars are really hard, so we really would like to keep that dance step simple. And then you saying, I really want a dance step, can we change the music? And it's that great.
My favorite was the one time, I think, Leah, can you go up on your bow? Jesse's up, I want the bowography. And what did you were playing a harmony, so you went down on a bow?
It was a different string. So everyone was on the same string except one person, and they had to be on the other string. And you went, why are their bow the other way? It's because they have to play that string.
Poor Ogie. And Skyboat, that was beautiful. Tell me about Skyboat.
Ooh, Skyboat. I mean, I feel like people still tell us to this day that's their favorite number of the show because it's such a different contrast to the really high energy of the rest of the show. And then we have this beautiful instrumental piece which really stands out in a show like that. And yeah.
Choreographically too.
Yeah.
Just
so
so
nice.
Yeah. good. Okay, your favorite show at the VPP? Go, Jesse.
Oh man. I mean, I of course I have a special place in my heart for all the fiddler shows, so I think I'm gonna ignore those.
Okay.
For this, it would be a tie between Scotland Sings,
Yep.
which was really moving.
Yeah.
That show, the music, the experience with Brian Mackay, and the cast and everything. There was just so many elements to that show that were amazing. And Broadway Heroes with David Rogers.
Nice.
Those were the two I was gonna say.
What were you going to say? Go. Your
Those
favorite.
exact two.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, say it.
Broadway Heroes and Scotland
Well
Sings.
done. Well played.
No, I did really love Scotland Sings, and also the East Coast Kitchen Party.
Oh,
They
yeah.
would say it. East Coast Kitchen Party was
party.
so fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
Your funniest moment in VPP. Do you have one? Go ahead,
Like
Leah.
in a show or
Yeah,
backstage?
In a
you
show.
have one?
Oh my goodness, so many. I've dressed up in so many ridiculous costumes.
What was your favorite ridiculous
Probably
costume?
the Grinch.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a jamboree.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to play the violin with the gloves
The glove,
on.
yeah.
But it was so silly.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think mine was, there was a moment in Starbright Christmas where Raj played with a Santa, like a stuffed Santa, and he sang like a blues version of I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. And he sat it on the piano every day, and there was one day where it would not, like, it must have been like sitting on something that crushed the Santa, so it wasn't like sitting nice, and it kept falling over, and you had to keep going back and it would fall. And finally Raj grabbed it in the middle of the song, went, "Set up!" and sat it on the piano, and then it stayed. And it was great.
As we all do when Raj says sit
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
What does kindness matters? What does that mean to you? Go ahead, Jess.
I mean, it's self-explanatory. It's right
Is it?
there. Kindness matters. It's such a simple concept that is often overlooked. I think it's really easy to get caught up in whatever you're doing in the moment, and there's so much stress, and there's so much. There's so many things that can happen, whether you're working or whether you're playing. If you're just hanging out with people, there's things that can upset you. There's things that can stress you out. And so it's really easy to overlook that sometimes. And it's really important, I think, to always check back in at a small level and like a microscopic level and a worldwide level too. It's important to always
Does it
keep
matter to
that
you?
in the front. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I can tell. We could tell. You're beautiful. You're such a kind soul. You're just always you take care of everyone in the company. You're beautiful. What does kindness matter to you? What does that mean to you?
Yeah. Well, for me, personally, I think if I'm not being kind to people, I can notice it in myself that I feel awful. So, and that sounds selfish in a way, but it's not. It's like I need to be uplifting other people to feel joy, to be honest. And if I'm hurting someone, I know it's wrong. I don't want to be doing that. So yeah, kindness fills me up. I think it fills other people up. It's that kind of circular thing of you need to love yourself and love others, that golden rule.
Yep.
So yeah.
And you both do that. You go out of your way to do it. Do you think? Do you see that?
I
Describe
noticed
Jessie
it in
to me.
Jessie.
Go. Give me 2 words to describe Jessie.
Jessie is the
Go.
first person to make anyone in the room feel comfortable.
Yeah,
like
totally.
he's a yes man. He's there with a smile to talk to anyone that is there. Basically, everyone loves
left out.
Jessie.
Yeah, no one's left out with Jessie.
Yeah.
That's right. He's so
Yeah.
kind. Describe your sister.
Leah's mean. I mean, since I was a kid, she tortured me and broke my
So
thing.
evil, Leah.
True.
No, I'm just
Kindness
kidding.
matters.
I would say Leah is the same as she described me, but in a different way. I would say I'm probably more outgoing in that way, and you're more. I will say it out loud to a whole room, whereas you'll take someone aside and talk to them. I would say that you
I feel that.
are the exact same.
Yeah.
Same. Really, it's important for you to make everyone feel comfortable and stuff, but you won't do it outward. You'll do it at a more private level, I think. And
I'm more introverted than you anyways,
Yeah.
so I feel like I like smaller connections.
Right.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Okay, we have to quit. Calandra's saying done. Wasn't that fast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
We get longer. There's 2 of us,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So it's an
yeah.
extended
okay,
episode.
rapid fire. Just give me your answer, okay?
Okay, I love this.
Your favorite theater you ever worked at?
Victoria
VPP.
Playhouse.
Your favorite music director?
David.
Mark Payne. No.
Your favorite marketing manager?
Calandra.
Calandra Denby.
Your favorite artistic director?
David.
Oh my God, yeah, David.
Oh, did you see what she did there? David, what do you think?
That's good.
Yeah.
That was smart.
Who do you
David.
think? Those are my friends. We love the Grandmonts. Leah Grandmont and her brother, they're going to perform for you right now. Thanks for being with me.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Ogie.